Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Tea with V. Well, actually it's Diva Universe, baby. But so guys, this is a new series that I will be having, which is the creative diva journey, just my personal journey, everything that I have been learning, everything that I have been going through, and you know, all the things that I had to change, adapt, apply, and do in my life to be where I am right now. And I know I don't like to share much about this, or like I don't like to brag about like things that I have accomplished or things that I've done, because it's not about the objective itself or the things that I have accomplished or do, quote unquote, what people would call success, but mainly about the practices that I have applied, the embodiment that I have applied, the mindset shift, the discipline, all the things that I had to apply to become in order to have the things that I have. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you is a video that I just saw that said, discipline is when your identity is so clear that you stop negotiating with your feelings. And that is so true. As soon as the discipline kicks in, the identity shows up. And I know that we live in a world that people are like, it got me thinking of like, a lot of the times people are like, yeah, I don't have the motivation, I need a motivation. Like, people are constantly looking for motivation, and I personally don't believe in motivation anymore. I have transcended motivation. But if you're in the beginning of your journey, I think motivation is very important, and it's something that you need to work on. Because let's say you want to wake up at 5 a.m. to exercise. It is going to be difficult to wake up at 5 a.m. and exercise if it's not something that you've never done before. If you sleep out super late, if it's not something that you have practiced enough or embodied enough. And what happens is, maybe you need to, and maybe you want to do it because you want to become healthy, you want to work out, whatever the reason may be. When I was in the beginning of my journey, I realized that motivation isn't something that I can depend on. It is something that is it comes and it goes. So because I know that motivation is something that it comes and it goes, what I've learned is to motivate myself, to create that motivation within myself. And I started doing that by again, using the example of the gym. I really wanted to work out and really wanted to have like this sexy body. So I started thinking, like, I didn't want to go to the gym in the morning. I was lazy girl. And how I created a motivation for myself is to thinking of how my body would look, how my body would look in a bikini, how I would feel, how confident I would feel, the clothing that I need to wear. If I had an event or something for that weekend, or I'm going out that weekend, or I'm gonna meet someone, or I have a date, I would use those small things as motivation. In the sense of, like, imagine it, I'm going to the date, I'm gonna wear this skirt and my body is gonna be looking sexy as fuck, my legs are gonna be toned, my arms are gonna be toned, I'm gonna feel good within myself. And that is how I created motivation for myself. Like, in workouts, in my studies, in working, like going to a 9 to 5, whatever practice, not hobby, but whatever practice I had going on in the moment where I really needed motivation, even for studying. Sometimes I would just think, like, I would literally go into like a meditative zone and imagine in my head the life that I would want, how I would feel, how I would look, the things that I will be doing, and I would let that motivate me in that moment to help me do the things that I need to do. And that is how you create motivation. That is how you motivate yourself. And I feel like this is very important if you're starting in your early journey, because you're not always going to be in the mood, you're not always going to have this high energy, things are not always going to be peaches and flowers, you know, things are like, the world can be in chaos, but you still need to show up and do what you need to do. You still need to be disciplined. And those are like a few ways that I would practice it. And I sometimes, like, mentally it wasn't enough for me. Like, I feel like I wouldn't, even though I would imagine all the things, it wasn't enough. So what I would do is then write it down. And that's how I started writing, like how I got into journaling and all these things, because I would start writing it down. And when you write things down, it's like it it's like it gets clear. It's like you can see it, and you can be more, you can go more into details, you can be more specific. And that when mentally it wasn't working out for me because I had worries, I had doubts, I had fear, or whatever, I would write it down. And I would do this for, this is what helped me work out, like, this is what helped me to be able to work out in the morning before I go to work out at night studying, because sometimes I didn't want to study or even go to work. Like, some weekends I would be like so depressed of my 9 to 5, or like so like over it, like working for other people. And then I would think like, remember that you are working, this job is temporary, you're doing it because it's helping you now, it's providing for you now for where you need to go. You need that experience, you need that money to be able to invest, you need the opportunities that this experience is bringing you, even though you cannot see it. And those are the things that I would say to myself to help me have that motivation. And as soon as I would feel that motivation, I would like immediately go do whatever I need to go. Like, I would take advantage of the opportunity, because I knew, I understood that motivation isn't something that is, you know, it's always there. No, motivation comes and go. Like, it is not consistent. Discipline is consistent. But and in order to be able to get to discipline, you have to learn to motivate yourself. Because by doing this motivation yourself, eventually at some point it will become easy. And not only that, you will transcend motivation. Like, you will realize at some point that you don't need motivation anymore, because you're so locked in with the vision that you created, with the ideas that you're imagining, with the things that you're writing down. The why you're doing this becomes even more clear, more embodied, that it comes to the point where you don't need to motivate yourself, because it becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of, like, you know, your vision becomes clear. You become so focused, you know why you're doing this, so you don't need motivation to do it. You just do it because you know it will get you to where you want to go. You know that those are the steps, or those are the things you need to do to be able to get where you need to go. So it almost becomes like discipline. So I really wanted to share that with you guys, because personally I feel like that has helped me so much in my life, and in all areas of my life, in all areas, especially in work, in business, in my career. And you know, when you're someone, you really want to reach big things and you want to do big things, discipline is the way to go. And I'm not saying that because you know, I feel like sometimes society has this, society condition us into this idea of, if you do this you will get this. No, it's not about because it's the way it's set up in the society. It is because discipline in every area of your life will be beneficial. And I feel like the most rewarding, like, also it helps so much when it comes to spirituality and religion. Like, I feel like my relationship with God, my relationship with source, my relationship with infinite intelligence has become stronger the more disciplined I am towards praying, meditating, cleansing myself, fasting, you know, doing all of these things because I'm not just doing it for selfish interest. I'm doing it because it is my duty. It is my like, God put me here to live my life, to live my experience, for me to have my experience. And God is expanding through me having my experience and learning. So somehow I feel like I by living my life and doing the things that I really want to do and enjoying myself, not just enjoying myself but enjoying the process and the journey, I feel like that is bringing me more to being disciplined towards my purpose and my journey that God has given me, even though I don't know exactly what that is specifically, because if I knew, then I would know everything. But I don't. But I just know that that discipline towards the highest self, Jesus Christ, is just the best. I don't know why I feel like it's interconnected, and maybe I will do a video later on it, because I feel like being disciplined within my spiritual journey has just strengthened my relationship with God, and just my beliefs, and all of these things. So I really wanted to share that with you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.